All right, let's get started. What's up, everybody? My name's Andrew James. This is Djivan Schapira. We are the co-founders of ABDB Designs. And we're going to do this co-founder to co-founder interview just kind of to explore the different ways that we've been staying creative throughout this whole new notion of social distancing and a little bit of isolation, given the uncertain times that we're in right now. Let's get the cat out of the bag. It sucks that I can't be there to interview in person. We're in two different states, but if I could, we wouldn't be really in this scenario, I don't think. So let's set the stage here for those who don't know. Who is Djivan Schapira and what is ABDB Designs?
So I am a 26-year-old furniture designer and maker. I'm originally from Paris, France, and immigrated to the United States when I was 6 years old. ABDB stands for Au bout du bois, which in French means at the end of the grain. And we are an avant-garde furniture and design and build company building pieces for luxury, residential and commercial projects.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, and hope that's helpful for those who don't really know who we are. And now tell me a little bit about the studio that you're in, ABDB Studios. What's the vibe like? How have you been handling social distancing between where you live and your place of work? I know that most people are relieved to kind of be out of the office, but it is a different setting, so would love to hear about that.
Yeah, so luckily I don't live far from the shop, so I'm able to continue to come into work and then try to get as much stuff as done as possible. ABDB Studios is set up in a way where we have the wood shop here, which is where all the manufacturing happens and all the production, and then we have a multi-purpose showroom, an office space, which is here. Which comprises of a bunch of pieces up on the walls. This is where Andrew's desk is, where we're missing him. And this is, a kind of lounge space that we use to kind of set the stage for the type of company that we are, the vibe that we like to portray. And the shop is mainly covered in, again, ABDB pieces and just art that I've kind of found along the way. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's here from my family, but I've always been someone who enjoys decorating interior spaces, and so I feel like the shop is a reflection of me, so it's a comfortable place to be during this quarantine.
Yeah, absolutely. It's super inspiring, the view of the western skyline of Manhattan, and then of course the interior is basically an explosion of Djivan's brain onto the walls, and
I'll give you guys a quick peek. I don't know if the light is allowing you guys to see.
We can see.
But we're straight up looking at the New York City skyline, which definitely is a source of inspiration, that's for sure.
Yeah. And, when this is all said and done, we love hosting people at the studio. If anybody wants to come by, just shoot us a message, or if you want to, see a little bit more of the vibe or kind of how we operate, while everybody is in quarantine, you could give us a follow at ABDB Designs on Instagram, or check out our website at abdbdesigns.com. So anyways, Djivan, let's talk about you a little bit. What is your typical routine on any given day?
Honestly, my routine hasn't changed too much since this whole quarantine situation happened. I've always been a big proponent of setting goals the night before. I'll do that, usually before going home, and then just tackle the list as soon as I get here. That's been something that's allowed me. Now the list is a lot longer in a way because I'm here even longer.
Yeah.
But it's been a great way to kind of stay on top of the tasks that need to get completed in terms of ongoing projects, and then setting time aside to focus on things that I normally wouldn't necessarily have the time to.
Absolutely. And, sometimes in those times of confusion when things might seem a little bit overwhelming, just being able to accomplish one task at a time just feels tremendously more productive. At least that's how I've experienced that notion.
Yeah,
and, coming up with that list of tasks the night before really sets the day up for success. So thank you for that. And, just on that note, it seems like everything we're seeing on social media, that people are trying to practice mindfulness and stay active. It's really great to hear that you're able to do that within the studio. Do you have any tips for people as to how you find strength, calamity, inspiration during this time of plight?
Yeah, I'd say probably the main thing that's changed is now I'll try to to work out here at the shop instead of going to the gym. That's been a nice thing to do since I'm not really going out as much, obviously. And then once in a while, I'll go to the roof just to get some fresh air.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Besides that, I've luckily for me, it hasn't been too different than from my normal day to day. I pretty much spend most of my time here anyway.
Yes. The French artist stuck at the shop. It's not the worst thing in the world. And just speaking about kind of being alone a little bit, it's pretty wild to me, at least, how in the digital age, for the first time, we're actually really being forced to sit with ourselves. Something that can feel strangely uncomfortable to most, just given how used to we are to being in large groups of people or being with our friends. And practicing things like meditation or working out is a great way to get in tune with your body and your mind and your feeling, which is something that we may have lost a little bit, by being around others so much. So, speaking of being around others, have you been able to keep in touch with friends? Have you joined any of those house parties or FaceTime groups?
Yeah, actually, now that this has all been going on, I definitely found myself FaceTiming way more than I ever did, which has been really refreshing. FaceTiming people that I, rarely would necessarily connect with over the phone. And so that's been definitely something that's relieved a lot of, not stress, but it's definitely been a pleasant thing to kind of split up the day. Like it's easy to get lost in a FaceTime with someone, or a group of people that you haven't seen in a while. So that's been really refreshing. And then, I've always FaceTimed. My whole family lives in France, and so I've always FaceTimed with them. But now we're doing it even more, and it's been eye-opening because France is dealing with this, but they're on another schedule. They say that they're about 1 to 2 weeks ahead of what's been going on here in the United States. So getting their perspective on this has been something that's also been very interesting.
Yeah, I would imagine, just given how this is a virus that's impacting everybody on a global level, being able to gain that insight just from people around the world, just to kind of see how others are responding to it, not just those, in the United States. And I agree with you. I've definitely been checking in with my other friends around the world and, speaking to family more and things like that. It's been a nice opportunity to be able to do so if you can. So shifting gears back a little bit to ABDB, for those who don't know, some of our commercial projects and installations have been postponed because of COVID-19. A lot of people getting in a room, samples being cleared, things like that. This has not only been a stress on the company, but a stress on our mental wellness to an extent as well. In what types of ways do you remedy your potential anxious thoughts?
Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily call them anxious. I've kind of already made my peace with what's going on and how we're going to have to rebound from this and adjust to the current climate. I'd say one of the main things is I've definitely allocated way more time to trying new things and prototyping new products. That's something that, when you're stuck with a very strict deadline, it's hard to fit in there. And it's personally my favorite thing to do is just to prototype, try something, try it again, and try it a third time. Yeah. And so being able to allocate even more time to that has been something that's actually made the time go by a lot faster.
Yeah, and just on my side of things, we're working on a couple other things that we didn't really, have the time to do before, including kind of like a shared experience type interactive group where you'll be able to learn from industry leaders and the like, but more on that later. So, it sounds like you definitely have your hands full as you're back at the studio. Is there anything that the people can look forward to from ABDB, in the coming months or when this settles down?
Yeah, so the plan is to release our second collection. It's going to feature some never before seen types of products. Something that I can say is that there's going to be a little bit more light involved. That's something that I've been, and by light I mean lighting. That's something that I've been wanting to experiment with for a while. And so hopefully, we'll be able to show you guys this in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. And if not, we're always going to wait for the right time. So it really sounds like you're taking this thing in stride. I mean, there are so many negative ways to look at what's going on, especially with the entire economy basically at a standstill, but you're refusing to do so, and you're still sitting here or standing here working and getting things done. And I guess I would just ask, are there any last pieces of advice for those of you who have tuned in?
Yeah, I guess I would say the last thing is honestly we've in a way been gifted the gift of time, which is something that we rarely have, especially when you're a small business owner. There's so many things that have to be taken care of. Andrew, I know you know that very well, and so being able to sit with ourselves has given us a lot more opportunity to try new things, and so if there's a hobby that you've always wanted to take up, this is the time to experiment and to try new things and learn something about yourself. That's definitely something that I've been pushing is trying new things. Even cooking. Cooking is I know everyone's eating a bunch, but trying to make different food is definitely a fun way to pass the time. So.
Yeah. We've been on that same wave.
Go for it.
For me, it's kind of been like little 10 to 15 minute increments. What about my day can I change, or what about my day can I get better at? And it doesn't have to be huge, it doesn't have to be overwhelming. We've got a lot of time to be able to sit with this and to be able to navigate this. So we'll see where it goes. And Djivan, thank you for taking a few moments.
Man,
always
of course.
taught
We
me
miss
the
you over
glass is
here.
always half full. I miss you over there too. And we'll be in touch soon.
All right, sounds good.
Cool, man.
Thank you.